Joining me in studio to unpack all of those issues is Michael Oti Adjei. A pleasure to have you, Michael. Let's start off with Erling Haaland. Back-to-back hat-tricks. He seemed to be cracking the code in England. Third season. If he stays fit, where do you see him ranking in their all-time records?
Well, I think you just have to look at the numbers within the Premier League. Already 3 games into the season, he scored 7 goals. He's had back-to-back hat-tricks. He scored 8 hat-tricks. Incredibly, he's done it in 69 games. Thierry Henry, who is also on 8, Harry Kane on 8, Michael Owen on 8. These were players who did it in 320 games, 358 games, 326 games. Effectively, he's done his in almost 180 games less. Now, that speaks to a man whose capacity is beyond belief. Then you factor in the thing that he plays in a team that creates chances for fun. So either De Bruyne is setting him up, or Jeremy Doku is doing that, or lately, as we've seen with Savinho, and a Guardiola team that seems to have this insatiable appetite for winning. So I think eventually he will go past Robbie Fowler on 9 at the moment. Likely will go past Alan Shearer by the end of the season. And Aguero is on 12. He needs 4 more hat-tricks. It may not happen this season, but this is a player who would break records for fun in the English Premier League. That much seems to be guaranteed.
Well, speaking of records, on the other side, another team trying to challenge Manchester City is Liverpool. And I think individually, if anyone is going to catch up to Haaland, it has to be Mohamed Salah. Fantastic record against Manchester United. I think he has 15 goals in all competitions against them. Nobody has more goals in that fixture. How do you rate Salah? Because there's always been that talk about it's just goals that he keeps on scoring, and he probably needs to do more. If you're looking at him and the best African players in the league, where do you rank him?
I think he's the greatest African to have played in the Premier League. I have no doubt in my mind about that. The numbers speaks for themselves. The quality of goals he scored speaks for themselves. He went into a Liverpool side that had struggled for Premier League titles and became a dominant figure in that. I think a lot of people also forget the fact that before Salah went to the English Premier League, went to Liverpool and became top scorer in the first season, he was not known to be a goal scorer. He has scored about 15 at AS Roma. Then he all of a sudden comes alive. He's one of the reasons Jurgen Klopp is considered a success in England, major big part player in Champions League triumphs and all that. I think he's been an absolute credit to African football. I know that Didier Drogba has a shout because he was an absolute big player. But Salah barely goes missing when he's playing Man City, when he's playing Manchester United, when he's up against Arsenal and the rest. And that, for me, is a player whose consistency, I think personally, marks him out as the greatest African to step up in the English Premier League. He started this season like he started many. A lot of goals, 15 against United, but it's also not just that. He's had 2 assists already this season. He seems to be in the right place. After all the talk and all the controversy about his relationship with Klopp towards the back end of last season, about his own, about whether he himself wanted to stay or whether he wanted to tap into the vast wealth of the Arabian Nights and the rest, he stayed. And he's played as if absolutely nothing has gone wrong. One of the key reasons why Arne Slot has started so well at Liverpool.
I was just about to come to Slot. Have you been surprised by how quickly things seem to have clicked for him?
A bit. I think when you look at it, with the benefit of the transitions that Manchester United went through since 2013, since Sir Alex Ferguson left, a man whose shadow loomed large over the league. And then we saw how Arsenal struggled with Arsene Wenger. I think maybe the difference, especially when you compare that to the Arsenal one, is that by the time Wenger left, Arsenal had fallen off the pace as a major competitor in the Premier League. So whoever picked up the baton, and in this case, Unai Emery, picked up from a disadvantaged position. Slot, meanwhile, comes into a team that still has some of the best forwards in the league. So you talk about the likes of Cody Gakpo, who now has to start from the bench. Mohamed Salah still scoring goals and scoring quite consistently. A team that had its base at the back in place. Alisson, the goalkeeper, Van Dijk, Robinson, Alexander-Arnold. Whether you picked on Konate or young Jared Kwanzaa. The midfield, they strengthened last season with McAllister off the back of that Argentina World Cup winning side. This is a team with talent spread all over. But a credit to him, he's walked in there, he's quickened up their pace of play a bit. They are not an all-and-out counter-attacking team, a bit like they used to be under Klopp. It seems that he's kept the best values that Liverpool had under Klopp and qualities, whilst adding his own better sense of agency, and it's been absolutely brilliant so far.
Well, it's been a brilliant start for Liverpool, the only side yet to concede 3 out of 3 wins matching Manchester City. But let's just take a look at the league table to get a better sense of how all teams have performed throughout, and then maybe we'll just look at 1 or 2 pointers from there. Man City, Liverpool, only teams with the excellent start, 3 out of 3. Do you see this rivalry coming back again? We've seen Arsenal come in from the outside, challenge Man City. Is there a season, Man City, Liverpool, yet again?
I think we will still go through a phase where Liverpool may need to do just a bit more than they have at the moment. I think that will be the ultimate question. I think Arsenal will be in and around that conversation. I have no doubt in my mind that Arteta's side would have a big say in how the league ends. In many ways, top 3 will be one of Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City. I still think that Arsenal, this could be their season because City will have their bad moments. Yeah. Liverpool will have their bad moments. And I kind of feel like this is the season where Arsenal will pace themselves up properly. 3 games, way too early to judge anything. If for nothing, it only tells us that the big boys will be in and around the most important places. Everybody's talking about Arsenal. I said to one of my friends this weekend that the fact that every Arsenal fan was so disappointed after the Brighton game speaks volumes to how far Arsenal have come lately, that when they drop 2 points, when they have 7 points out of 9, it's considered a major disappointment. Yeah. And that, in many ways as well, is how far Manchester City has pushed them to.
Yeah. And on the other side of the table, I know it's difficult to call, especially after 3 games, but what we've seen from Southampton and Everton, I think it kind of gives us a hint of where they would be come end of match day 38.
Southampton have been too much in a hurry to continue to play the way they used to play in the Championship, play out from the back. 3 goals conceded over the weekend against Brentford. All 3 goals, the products of attempting to sweep from the back, to play from the back, and they conceded goals off the back of that. Everton's unbelievable. You are 1-0 up by the 86th minute, then the Ghanaian international Antoine Semenyo scores 1, and then in time added on, they completely capitulate and can't do anything. That was a disastrous performance, I thought.
Indeed. And Bournemouth looked like they would probably be going away with the comeback of the season yet again.
Yeah, they did the same thing last season.
I think it was against Luton.
And the thing that I love is that Semenyo has been in the thick of that.
Those comebacks,
you know, it really bodes well for not just his confidence, but for the well-being of the Black Stars ahead of those 2 games this week.
Well, thank you very much, Michael.